qualifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Tuesday, January 2nd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect clear skies with a high of 61. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of Weekend Winners, and we have a new OTB mailbag, so get your questions in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, Peter, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's up, y'all? What's happening? Hope everybody's having a great New Year. 2024 is upon us, and the full boys are back, or at least we'll be in a little bit. Jake Hester finishing up some Sirius XM radio responsibilities as well. I think they're talking to the Washington AD or something, so he'll be here shortly. But we got a lot to get to today, obviously. LSU playing Wisconsin in the bowl game yesterday will be the main thrust of this first hour. There was a nice Saints win on Sunday. We had some massive playoff action last night, probably the best playoffs that we've got with that Rose Bowl and that Sugar Bowl. A lot to break down, a lot to look forward to. Who do you think's going to win, who's not? And so it's going to be a very exciting show. YouTube.com/1045ESPN if you want to get involved. Boys, what's going on, man? Mario and Taylor are back after a nice little break. How we feeling, fellas? How's the break?
Hey, what's good, T-Bob? What's good, Taylor? Legitimately, I miss y'all, boys. And
yeah, I agree.
What's good, Hester, who I'm sure is listening in the car? I feel really good, man. Some time off was much needed. Vibes are really good in sports, too. Saints looked good yesterday. Pelicans had pretty much a wire-to-wire win against the Lakers, which was a lot of fun. So the vibes are good over here, man.
Yeah, the rare triple win with LSU, the Saints, and the Pelicans. You don't get it often, and yet you got it now. What about you, Taylor? How are you doing?
Man, I'm happy to be here, honestly.
Yeah.
It was a long break. Actually worked yesterday morning for pregame. I felt like Will Smith in I Am Legend driving on the road. I think it was me and one other car just hanging out on the interstate. Yeah. It was odd. It was nice to get back in the swing of things this morning. Happy to be here. You know, Cowboys, so non-controversial win that I got to watch over the weekend. Nothing controversial about it. It was never in doubt, in all seriousness. So it was controversial. But, look, I'm happy to be here, LSU, with a big win as well.
Did you win your Nutcracker competition?
So it's weird to say. Like, there wasn't really a winner. I voted for my dad. My parents voted for me. My sister wound up not doing it because she's lame. So everybody else said I won, but I felt my dad won.
All right.
So I guess I got the most
That all seems
votes.
completely unfulfilling.
I guess I got the most
just
votes.
a horrible
so yes.
answer that in no way it was what I was looking for.
Missed y'all so much.
Well, I prefaced by saying,
yeah, I mean, I guess you still can't get out of the fact that the NFL is just straight up cheating for the Cowboys at this point. I
look,
feel
for years they've done this. Everyone says it.
All right, but look, let's go ahead and look. If it sounds like I'm a little strained voice-wise, it's because not only do we do, we had New Year's Eve, which is very fun, but then rolling that straight into a whiskey and wine at 11 a.m., in which the chat specifically kept yelling at me to imbibe more and more, quaff that beer, all that stuff, and then Straight from there, did post games for Rose and Sugar Bowl yesterday. So I think it done around 1 a.m. last night. So, we hootin' and soaring like we talked about. What did the Cannons say? If you want to hoot the Owls at night, you got to sword the Eagles during the day. That's what we're going to try to live today. And let's talk about yesterday's ReliaQuest Bowl, LSU, Wisconsin. And I think the conversation starts with Garrett Nussmeier. And look, Nussmeier was fantastic from a statistical standpoint, obviously, right? 31 to 45, 395 through the air, 3 touchdowns. Overwhelmingly good statistically, considering that that's your first start. But I don't actually care about the statistics that much, or that's not what I will remember from yesterday or what stands out most to me. To me, it is Garrett Nussmeier's situational play. Because, and then obviously, that's the main deal here. It's not the only deal, but the main deal here is that 98-yard drive. To get that ball back, 6:10 left, the form that your defense has been in all day, with 98 yards to go, this is likely your final opportunity to try to go win this game. And so for this to be your first start, and you have so much narrative riding on this, you have a lot of hard work riding on your shoulders, a 10-win season all of a sudden up in the air. All of your goals, all your career really has been leading you to this moment. And if you win this game, everybody's going to champion you throughout the offseason and cheer for you and be like, okay, yeah, this is our guy. If you don't get it done and you lose, your offseason will be filled with question marks and tough questions and challenges. And really the entire team and program, entire offseason will be tinged with self-doubt and criticism and kind of bad vibes, and staring down that mountain worth of narrative and staring down 98 yards. And I talked about this on Whiskey and Wine, but I think it's hard to really appreciate all the time just how field position really feels when you're out there on the field. I cannot tell you, when you start a drive at like your opponent's 45, it's one of the best feelings in the world. It feels like you have almost no work to go. You can clearly see the end zone. It's getting closer and closer. When you start and it's 98, it really does look like the Green Mile. Like you gotta I don't know how we're gonna get all the way over there. And that's in the game isn't on the line. So to have that moment, that situation arise, and then to step up in the ways that he did, chunk plays, 8 plays, 98 yards, was simply fantastic and really just rubber stamped that he is in firm control of this job going forward, and that he should be the guy next year. And it wasn't just that though, right? There's the There's getting down 14-0 before coming back to tie it up. I love so you come back, you tied up 14-14, right? But then the defense immediately gives up a score before half. Nuss pressing a little bit, trying to sneak in a score before half, like we saw Jaden Daniels do so many times this year, throws that pick. And then Wisconsin, and that's when the defense actually has a nice stand. We'll get to defense, we do. But then Wisconsin goes back, and they open up the second half with a very easy touchdown drive, and all of a sudden, you're down 28-14, and last time you were on the field, you threw a pick. And so, again, situationally, that's a back-against-the-wall moment. If that lead had gotten any bigger for Wisconsin, they will win that game. It's the second half. You don't have time to play around. And so, situationally, to come back and find ways to score, tie it up at 28, just fantastic. So again, the stats are awesome. Make no mistake. 31 to 45, 395, 3 touchdowns, all awesome. But it's not the stats that I care about as much as what he did in the most high-pressure moments, in the biggest moments where everything was on the line and everything was on his shoulders, and you saw a more refined and prepared Garrett Nussmeier than you've ever seen before, because he was finally given that opportunity to operate as QB1, right? He maintained like that gunslinger energy that we're always talking about, that just uber confidence, he maintained that, and that's how he was able to deal with the situations like being down 14 in the second half or having to go 98 yards of the game on the line. But again, it was much more refined and under control, and there weren't bad throws. Like bad decisions, right? So Garrett Nussmeier was awesome, and I think it's a very exciting debut. And now the LSU program gets to champion things like back-to-back 10-win seasons. Kelly in the postgame was really adamant that he feels like with these last 2 years, and he didn't shy away from how big this win was and how badly they needed it. But how, when you have back-to-back 10-win seasons and after what you took over, which objectively it is better. Brian Kelly took over LSU. You were a sub-500 team over a 2-year sample size. Like, that's not fluky. That's a program that's in a bit of trouble. And that's somewhere where you had not been in 20 years, since the late 90s, since pre-Les Miles was the last time you would have turned in back-to-back seasons that poor. And so to take that over and now immediately have 2 10-win seasons, a Heisman Trophy, 2 bowl wins, a win over Alabama in there, an SC West win, like, that's good. That is really good. And as Kelly said yesterday, that is a great foundation on which to build the future. But now it is time for the future. Right now it's time to take those next steps and try to bring things up to a championship level. And with Garrett Nussmeier offensively, I certainly think he's capable. But then you arrive at the other side of the ball. And it's like that Bill Plaschke headline after USC San Jose to open the season, where it was something along the lines of there's no defense for this damn defense. And it's not good. So I wanted to open positively because you should, and that's the main takeaways. Coming up next segment, I think let's go ahead and get into the defensive plays. And if you want to give me any of your kind of sneaky game MVPs or whatever, Brian Thomas is incredible. Brian Thomas now 17 touchdowns on the year, 9 of which were 30 yards or more. Leads FBS with 6 games with 2 touchdowns or more. The guy, I know that because Malik Neighbors was the best receiver in the country this year, Brian Thomas in a weird way can almost get overlooked, but he's just been he's been undeniable all year long. And yesterday's no different. 8 for 98, 2 touchdowns. Kyron Lacey goes 6 for 95. Scary moment, but comes back in the game. That's great. Been brutal to lose somebody there. Mason Taylor getting very involved yesterday. 7 for 88. As you looked at things, okay, now that you lose the legs of Daniels, what are things that are going to have to crop back up? And it's, Mason Taylor, because Jaden Daniels became so deadly effective at the deep ball and at throwing to his receivers for chunk yardage with anticipation, the tight end group kind of receded to the background a little bit this year. Whereas because Nuss is not going to be able to maybe take off and run, and that's not going to be the best decision for him, he's going to have to take advantage of things like that. You're probably going to have to see this running back room and this rushing attack evolve into a little more gap scheme, something a little more traditional, but the talent is all there. And it was on display yesterday. A very bright future for LSU offensively. All right, when we get back, though, again, give me your biggest takes, your MVPs. And then when we get back, let's talk about this LSU defense. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys, 225-888-8888. You need somebody who's going to fight for you, fight against the insurance company. You want to get Gordon McKernan injury attorneys. Okay, man, they've been doing it for a long time now. Merry Christmas, by the way, from your friends at Gordon, and a very happy new year. And let's start this year off in the right way. And you can do that with Gordon. Again, you follow him on social media at Get Gordon, and you can see great videos, tips, tricks, really on life in general, but also what do you do immediately after you get in an accident, how to handle yourself to make sure that you get taken care of and get what you deserve, and also just sit down to a lot of your favorite athletes, right? The G team, you know all about them. Gordon McKernan partnering up with many of your favorite LSU athletes in this NIL era. And you can go watch cool stuff like the Grubbin' with G series where you learn what makes these guys tick, what motivates them, their stories. It's all there for you. Get Gordon at Get Gordon on social media. Get Gordon, get it done.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
Year from the Hunt Palmer Show to you and yours. Hunt is back Tuesday to recap LSU Wisconsin in the ReliaQuest Bowl and Saints Bucks. Hunt Palmer Show weekdays 1 to 3 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Well, my buckle makes impressions on the inside of her thigh. There are little feathered Indians where we tussle through the night. If I'd known she was religious, then I wouldn't have came stoned to the house of such an angel who fucked up to get back home.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, T-Bob, Mar, Taylor hanging out with you today. Happy New Year, everyone. 2024, rolling right along. A lot I want to get to here. Let's get to some of your comments in the chat. LSU fans saying, man, I don't think I've ever watched 3 better games back to back in one day. That is true. That was just an awesome day of football. And that would not have been awesome had I had to spend my New Year's breaking down a loss to the Dairy Raid and Tanner Mordecai, but that fate was barely avoided. Somebody said, let's discuss the Perkins TD. That was just funny as hell to me. For a second, I think all of us were like, wait a second. Is John Emery okay? What's going on here? They know that's Harold Perkins. That feels, that feels very much like hey, it's a bowl game. It's in a rough year for Perkins in terms of expectation to output and maybe how he was used, he was put in. Give him a fun little moment. He played high school offense for sure. Let our boy score a little touchdown. Now defensively though, okay, where's the comment? Because somebody had a good one to be a launching point for the defensive conversation. Krista Kissinger says, if y'all are going to bash the defense next segment, please give Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo some credit for how they ended the game. So here's the deal. I don't want to go out of my way to bash the defense. And to be fair, they had some good moments. After Nuss throws the pick right before half, coming up with the stop there to stop a field goal for an attempt for being made. That was big. No extra points added on. I'm trying to remember the exact game flow. There was at one point when LSU trying to go back from 14 down, they got the ball back. Like LSU's defense came on the side, gave the ball back to LSU. Then LSU goes 3 and out. They're already down 7. And at that point, you had to stop Wisconsin, and you find a way to do it. You set up, that's what set up the 98-yard drive for Nuss and company. And then at the end of the game on the line, Mordecai kind of cruising down the field. That front 7, which should have been the strength of this team, right? The entire year, that front 7 showed up. And actually, I think on the whole day, they ended up with, about 5 sacks maybe? It was a really good day. 3 in a row at the end.
Like 3, on that last drive.
No, they had 3 in a row at the end. But yes, a statement out of that front 7 as Wingo and Smith and really everybody getting home, applying pressure. The 4-man rush started to win, and they end up closing out the game with 3 forced fumbles in a row, and you escape Tampa with a win over Wisconsin. So this is not to say there's not good. Like, I felt very good when Mekhi Wingo got that first sack. He looked like a man who had a burden lifted off his shoulders, right? A man who was an All-American last year that has been hurt and been frustrated throughout the entirety of this season, trying to find his way, get that moment. And so it felt like he had a real release. And I'm not talking about the final 3 plays. I'm talking about, I think it was like the drive before when he came up with that sack. And so there were positives. There were definitely positives. But I mean, at the end of the day, we do have to be honest and objective about what we witnessed as a whole. And on the whole, it remained garbage. I haven't gotten to dive into the film yet, and so I'll have a more refined take on exactly how that garbage was created. But you don't need to be uber refined or very football smart to pull up Tanner Mordecai's game logs and look at what he's done every other game this season, and then look at what he did against you yesterday. I mean, against Nebraska, he threw for 160, 1 touchdown and a pick. Against Iowa, 12 of 20, 106, no picks, no touchdowns. Against Rutgers, 145, 1 touchdowns, no picks. Purdue, he threw for 174, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, we're talking about a guy that I think had 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 6 touchdowns in 9 games on the year. He had never achieved a completion percentage over 65 outside of the Buffalo game, the first game, again, in which he had 189, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He had only broken the 200-yard barrier 3 times. This was the 11th best offense in the Big Ten. They could not find success against any of the rest of their conference. And then yesterday, Tanner Mordecai completes 67.5% of his passes for 378, 9.5 yards per attempt from a guy that was averaging in the 6s in terms of yards per attempt. So a 33% increase, 378 through the air, 9.5 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And so it's odd because when you talk about, okay, well, who's culpable? The DBs were getting cooked. Like, make no mistake. Like, Toviano, Stamps, like, they were just getting flat out beat. And so if you are a coach, that's hard to coach through, right? How do you find schemes? How do you find ways to mask that? But that's also at this point exactly what coaches are paid for. And it still is inexcusable for LSU. I don't care. Are they lacking personnel? Are they deficient in ways? Yes. But they're not deficient enough to explain being this consistently bad. You've been outliers for offenses that have been struggling all year long. They've all done very well against you, even if they haven't really done anything up to this point. It's one of the reasons why and I'm an idiot because I took the cheese again. Like, it's one of the reasons why I liked LSU so much here. And I actually thought I thought it was going to be more akin to the Purdue game last year. I thought LSU was going to blow Wisconsin out because I thought Wisconsin's offense was hot garbage. And that instead of LSU being the get right for Wisconsin, I thought it would be the inverse. Like, I thought it would be this LSU defense maybe gaining some confidence because they ran into Tanner Mordecai in an offense that just hadn't done anything all year long. And yet they come out and they immediately give up the 2 touchdowns. They give up a crucial touchdown for half. They allow the touchdown, which, by the way, Brian Kelly should not have taken the ball. That's bit LSU multiple times this year when he has, and it's worked out really well multiple times when you have not. So that was a bit disappointing. But you choose to take the ball, and then Wisconsin ends up pulling the score before half, scored open the second half, and all of a sudden it's 28-14 again. So again, some good individual performances, some good situational stands from this LSU defense, and BK tried to sell you on what a good performance it was after the game, but overall, no. It's still really bad, and it's still inexcusable. And again, Tanner Mordecai's other previous high yardage-wise was 278 in this game. He goes for 378. The most touchdowns he had ever in the game was 2, and that was only once. And then he goes out 378, 3 touchdowns, no picks. I don't know. So now, and to be fair, in the postgame yesterday, Kelly did said that this is when staff grading and adjustments and staff evaluations are going to take place. So they wanted to get the recruiting, wanted to get to the bowl game, and now they're going to kind of look at everything and figure out what needs to be done. And it's not that you have to fire Matt House, because Brian Kelly is an astute enough coach and has enough of a sample size. And again, I think the program is undeniably in a much better spot after these 2 years of growth, right? That's just numbers-wise, that's just factually inarguable. So if he wants to ride with House, that is all well and good. But you do have to just recognize the risk that you are assuming when you do. And again, the Lincoln Riley, Alex Grinch stuff is impossible to shake when you think about that, given that Alex Grinch in this year 2, which granted, Matt House has a better resume to fall back on than does Grinch, but that Alex Grinch in this year 2 completely just tore down anything that Lincoln had built with that year 1, 11-1 regular season turnaround. And they're a 500 football team since. And now people are questioning if Lincoln Riley's still an elite coach. Like, that's all. Like, if BK brings back and the defense is awful again, then nobody's going to be fired, right? But it's not going to be an enjoyable relationship between you and the fan base. There's going to be a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth and anger and vitriol. So I'll be very intrigued to see what happens on that defensive front. What about you boys? What were y'all's biggest takeaways from yesterday?
They're very similar to you. Like you were saying, everybody's like, well, the defense came up with big stops. They did, but you do have to point out how bad they were. I mean, you mentioned the raw numbers. T-Bub, I'm not a big quarterback rating guy. I never have been. But sometimes it is important to look at just how bad this defense is. Tanner Mordecai, 171.6 rating. His previous high this year was 139. That's
it's not even
incredible.
close.
Everybody's like, oh, well, that's only 40 points. When you look at quarterback rating, I mean, that's the difference between like 2 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. It's a light years difference. I thought there was some good on the defensive side of the ball when they needed it, but T-Pop, it wasn't just, these players aren't good enough. Like, it was still the fundamental things. It was the long touchdown run, which, first off, that was the biggest concern to me. You knew the passing defense was going to be bad, but they're running their second, third string running backs out there. The guy, Akers, had 1 touchdown on the year coming into this game. He ran all over you. Andre Sam took one of the worst angles I've ever seen by a safety on that long touchdown run. I mean, it's still fundamental things. I thought Major Burns had a really tough game, and Stamps got beat a few times. Toviano got picked on. He had a rough game, but those guys are freshmen. I mean, Andre Sam and Major Burns, they are fifth-year players. They played a lot of big-time college football, and they're still struggling in fundamental things. I mean, it's not like it's a lack of talent. It's just they're completely out of position. I don't know who else you blame other than the coaching staff for that. Now, again, I will give them credit, but I thought there was a lot of bad from the defense yesterday.
There is a little bit of lack of talent, though, because they did just or maybe not lack of talent, but just so maybe not lack of talent, because I do like those guys' potential, right? So maybe not an underlying talent issue, but they did just get beat. Like a couple times they did just get mossed and bad cut, like they were there and just made really bad plays on the ball. So, it's not, but the vast majority and the consistency of it over an entire season, and the fact that every player that you had was good this year underperformed. Yes, these are all metrics in which I feel very comfortable in pointing towards the staff.
Yeah, for me, on the opposite side of the coin, it was good to see some of the young guys get reps. Like, I know Stamps got picked on a little bit, but that's the only way he's going to get better, right?
Absolutely.
Actually getting the reps. Jordan Jefferson is going to be a beast for LSU along the defensive line in the next few years. And Caleb Jackson had a few really nice runs. Hopefully he's a big part of the Tigers going forward, too.
So that 178 passer rating, if you did that over the entirety of the season, you would have finished third in the country, right behind Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. Tanner Mordecai, even with this game, had a season-long pass rating of 127, which was 78th in the country. So that deprives you. That's behind Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne at 73, and we all saw firsthand how bad Peyton Thorne was, right? So there's your context. Also, 200 yards per game, 6.6 yards per attempt for Tanner Mordecai on the year, and then he just threw for 378 and over almost 10 yards per attempt. Like, he basically he put up Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix numbers against you, a guy that had not shown even a peep of that all year long. So I'll be interested to see where those defensive evaluations go. I think there's going to be definitely a couple big assistant hires, and then I think there's a lot of different variables that will determine what happens at the coordinator position. Financial, NFL opportunity, I don't know exactly what's going to happen next year. I if I had to guess, whether this is a decision made out of kind of circumstance where your hand's kind of forced, or whether this is a decision made that Brian Kelly would make alone. I don't know how exactly to parse that, because I think some of these are external forces outside of Kelly's control that can maybe push towards Matt House returning. But whatever the motivation is, I do believe that it's probably more likely than not that Matt House is your defensive coordinator again next year. And if that's the case, well, you just got to find ways to have success within it and hope that House can find whatever he had 2 years ago. All right, coming up next, we continue to kind of break down this ballgame into all the weekend action. Keep it locked right here. Probably talk some of these playoffs next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Community Steel Company, communitysteelco.com. Go to communitysteelcompany.com, communitysteelco.com. Located in Gonzales, Louisiana, Community Steel Co. is your one-stop steel shop, and they're local, man. They got a live and local sales team, right? Which means you get to know them, and maybe more importantly, they get to know you. And if you're a business that needs steel, well, you form a relationship. They understand exactly what your business needs, and they work with you to maximize your success. And The fact that they make everything right there on site, like they buy the steel from the wholesaler, and then all their purlin, tubing, steel buildings, sheet metal, it's all made on site. The middleman's cut out, which means you, on the consumer, on the back end, you save money. I mean, they are truly disrupting the steel industry, and it's right here in Gonzales, and it's local, and it's high-quality product that you can touch and feel and see with your own eyes by just going to check them out today. Community Steel Co., communitysteelco.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart...
So join us for Tuesday's AFR presented by Sunshine. Matt is back in the host chair. We're recapping LSU, Wisconsin, and the ReliaQuest Bowl. Saints and Bucks. It's Tuesday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We're going to party, caramba, fiesta, forever. Come on and sing along. We're going to party, caramba, fiesta, forever. Come on and sing along. All night long, all night, all night long, all night, all night long, all night, all night long. Yeah, once you get started, you can't sit down. Come join
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
That's interesting. Taylor thought I was saying that the CFP was a weekend winner with how all these games have played out. I feel the complete opposite. I don't think you cannot convince me that Florida State couldn't have fought Michigan just as well as what Alabama did yesterday. Like, that was a defensive battle. That's exactly what Florida State would have been able to do. Their defense was as good as anyone's in the entire country. And don't hit me with any take about Georgia, Florida State, because that's intellectually dishonest. To act like that Florida State team is at all representative of the team that went undefeated this year is just completely wild. So, I think the CFP looks, well, they don't look like a loser because the games were awesome, right?
That's kind of more
so
where I
like,
was
yes,
getting
the
at.
games were awesome. It was the best two playoff games that we've ever seen. But again, I do think Alabama was a bit trumped up this year. And I think you saw that yesterday. I think Vegas told you that. As public money is just pouring in on Alabama, Vegas would have lost their ass off had Alabama won that game, and yet the line never budged. And, well, wouldn't you know it, these things have a way of working out. And Michigan. Now, certainly, look, credit Nick Saban, man. Now, this is very, like, I hate this idea of, like, oh, poor Alabama, this is such a bad team. I mean, it's still, from a pure star perspective, literally the most talented roster that's ever been assembled in college football. But in terms of your frontline starters, it is a more flawed Alabama team than we have seen recently. And certainly it's an Alabama team that has improved over the course of a season more than any that we've really seen recently. But like we kind of talked about going into this game, you had also seen them look very fallible. It's just that this Georgia win did so much, gave so many people kind of amnesia over how Alabama had looked at times. And granted, you saw some of that yesterday, some of that inconsistency, right? Where they come out, they're getting their butts kicked, but then in classic 2023 Alabama form, the second half looks like it's going to be theirs. They lean in that third quarter, winning the field position battle, and then it all comes down. It's so crazy how Michigan, from the start of the third quarter till that 4th and 2, could not do anything offensively. And then it all just flipped out of nowhere. Everything just turned on its heel, and suddenly Alabama couldn't stop Michigan for anything they're worth, and Alabama could not move the ball offensively. So it was a fantastic game, and credit to Michigan fighting through. Because the one thing, and I'm such a wuss, I should have stuck with my Michigan pick, and then the one thing they kept pushing me over was the Nick Saban effect. And especially combined with the fact that Harbaugh's been bad in these big moments. And so to stare all that narrative down and to flip it on its head, I find that to be very impressive out of Michigan. And take a bow, Michigan fans, because this is the moment that you've been waiting for. Though, once again, I'm taking Washington to win. I mean, Michigan opens up as 4.5-point favorites. It's like, when is everybody going to learn? All you keep doing, all the analytics keep doing is doubting Washington, doubting Kalen DeBoer. And the fact of the matter is, the reason being is because Washington, more so than any other team in the country this year, though I think Michigan scores highly too in this department, Washington has the intangibles of a winner. They're resilient. They've been in dogfights all year long. They know how to win in every single different way. They have leadership, and they have a quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. that is not afraid of the big moment, that wants the stage, that thrives in it, and that consistently makes the big plays to win the game. Jeff G., do you believe that Jaden would have won the Heisman if the defense would not have been that bad? Yeah, because he would have had more wins, right? I mean, you probably would have had a couple of top 10 wins to go along with those stats, and you could say, oh, well, maybe he would have scored a couple less touchdowns, but he was a statistical outlier. So if he had a better defense, you're probably competing for championships, which sets him up even better to win the Heisman. And all these takes about, like, Michael Penix Jr. should have won the Heisman, wait till after bowl season. If you're doing that, you're doing a disservice to Penix, because then you again have to engage with, no, how the Heisman Trophy is given away to the best player during the regular season. Jaden Daniels was clearly the best player. All you need to be talking about with Michael Penix Jr. right now is not should he have won the Heisman. What you need to be talking about is just how awesome he is. That all he does is make game-winning plays, and his ability to thread the ball downfield, to throw into the tightest of windows, to avoid, and this is why they won last night, to avoid the pass rush. and still make plays. I mean, 0 sacks for that vaunted Texas front seven. It's because although he was being pressured consistently, Penix was just a magician back there. So, no, Michael Penix shouldn't have won the Heisman, but that's not, like, nobody should be talking about that. Like, that doesn't matter. He's awesome. And I know this. If I'm anybody who's a fan of an NFL team that accidentally messed up and won too many games this year, if you're telling me Penix is the 4th guy, feeling pretty engorged over that thought, for sure. Like, I know we wanted to go down the New Orleans Saints Jaden Daniels hole, and that was very fun until Jaden looks like he kind of rose out of the Saints range. But, hey, Penix still around. It's hard not to think that you could win with that guy as well. So, Michael Penix Jr. is awesome. All right, I still got a lot of your comments I want to get to, so keep it locked right here. Also, some big news from LSU on the recruiting front yesterday. We'll get to it next here on OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Go to All-Star Toyota today and let them take care of whatever your needs are, man. You need to buy new, used, Toyota certified used vehicle. You need some work done. You get in an accident, okay? Insurance claims are welcome. And this is all makes and models at the All-Star Toyota Service Center, okay? This is not just Toyotas. So you can bring your vehicle in. You get that free professional estimate. They have great lines of communication where they text you throughout the process, and they're constantly updating you, and they don't make any big decisions without having you approve them. And the responses are instantaneous. Not automated, but instantaneous. Also, they have rental cars on site if it's a big job. They have a shuttle service so they can drop you off, pick you back up. And right now, if you mention OTB, T-Bob, Jake, ESPN, anything like that, get $100 towards that deductible. Also, Toyota Baton Rouge, also ToyotaBatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best-kept secret.
Join us for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Mid-City. We're back after the National Championship semifinals and LSU's bowl game. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. on Tuesday from 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, T-Bob, Mario, and Taylor hanging out with you today. Jake will be here. He is not out. He will be here, so do not worry about that. Some big news from LSU on the recruiting front yesterday as 5-star Dominic McKinley, an interior defensive lineman, it's exactly what LSU would want to add, has flipped from his Texas A&M commitment to the Tigers. So already this recruiting class that I've really started to appreciate the more I've kind of chewed over it and thought about it, especially because if you think about where LSU is in this current era of college football, I think we have enough. Though look, you brought Brian Kelly in to maybe change this, so maybe he can do that. But I think we have a large enough sample size where we can say that I don't expect LSU to ever achieve the consistency of a Georgia or an Alabama or an Ohio State or even like a Michigan now, right? They deserve to be in that club. But you also still have more national championship potential than nearly anybody else in the country, and even really including those schools. I mean, you're the only one that can claim that your last 3 coaches have won national championships. And when you think about how they did it, a lot of times mixed in there is a good foundation. It's mainly built through a foundation of Louisiana. I don't want to say undervalued, but a foundation of Louisiana players, right? Solid Louisiana players. And that's exactly what this class is. Second most 4-stars in the entire country. All it was lacking with some of that 5-star power. Now you get Dominic McKinley. Word on the street is you might get Bussy as well. The class is probably up to 8 overall. That is a class that you can win with. That's a class you can build into the long term with. It's also positionally been recruited very well. So, I think the McKinley news is big in terms of maybe satisfying the need or the hunger for a 5-star to be added to the class, but it's still, I think, the bigger story to me is still that I like the makeup of this recruiting class, and it's kind of how you're going to have to win going forward. You're not going to win on a lot of the big national recruits when you're having to go against the money or the allure of an Alabama or a Georgia. And so winning in Louisiana first and then finding ways to add to it around the edges, like with the McKinley and Bussy now. I know McKinley's Louisiana, but that's how you're going to win. LSU really, they are like the old, the steppe people, like the Mongols or something, right? Some horse archers or even the Dothraki in Game of Thrones, where, a lot of time there's infighting, maybe a lack of leadership. There's just various elements that keep him from reaching their full strength. But every now and then all the planets align, a warlord arrives that can harness the full power, and you go on a run that's nearly unprecedented, and it's ended in a national championship 3 times, right? So, like, for Brian Kelly, it's like, again, I don't think you'll ever be the year in, year out dominant power that Georgia, Alabama are, but you can set yourself up through classes like this one to catch that lightning in a bottle at a certain point. And again, that's one of the disappointing parts about this defense this year is with Jaden Daniels, you had that lightning in a bottle, and unfortunately, you kind of wasted it. And that's the other crazy part about yesterday. And I didn't want to say this because it's so easy for this to be misconstrued as somehow like saying something negative about Nuss. But Nuss was awesome, but it did make you also appreciate how unbelievable Jaden Daniels was this year. I mean, what he could do with his legs, the accuracy on his deep balls. Because, again, even though Nuss completed a lot of them, was very good, and there were, 2 or 3 moments that would have been touchdowns with the consistency with which Jaden was throwing that thing deep this year. So, Daniels is awesome. Nuss was awesome yesterday. And getting Dominant McKinley is awesome. I mean, overall, this was a very good weekend for LSU football and for LSU football fans. All right, coming up next hour here on OTB, we're going to open with a little weekend winners. We'll also do OTB mailbag. If you want to go ahead and, no, don't get your questions yet. They'll get lost after winners, but we'll do mailbag after that. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Good morning, everybody. It is a.m. on Tuesday, January 2nd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect clear skies with a high of 61. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of Weekend Winners. Coming up next, we also have a new OTB mailbag, so get your questions in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let me go.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, Peter, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
I am not Brooks Austin. Please, Twitter, get out of my mentions. Brooks Austin is a UGA content creator, recruiting guy, film guy, and we had him on Snaps after the SEC championship, and or to preview the Rose Bowl, and he goes on this whole rant about how like when Michigan's played any good defense, they played awful, and you don't bully a bully, and Alabama's going to bully Michigan. And you hear me kind of speak up one point, but wait, no, but I think J.J. McCarthy's been hurt. And then it's just like, no, it just rolls right along. And then Danny, who I pay to manage my social media and stuff, and does an awesome job, does what he's supposed to do and tweets out a little bit of a provocative title, right? Saying, Alabama will dominate Michigan or something like that. And it looks like I tweeted it. And then it's a video where it's all Brooks. Well, somewhere along the line after the game last night, Michigan Twitter started to pick up on this video, jumps up to now 400,000 views, and my mentions are just filled with people calling me an idiot, fat, dumb, like, who's the bully now? Probably my favorite one was shut the F up, get BITCHs. I'm like what? Just get okay, yeah. And I don't even know who I'm speaking to because I know none of these Michigan fans are listening. That's not me. I would never wear a cross necklace like that. It is an aggressively, and it's cool for his style, but it's just not me. It's just not me. Oh, well, at least we're getting the views, though. What are you going to do, dude? Such is life. I do want to do weekend winners, but there's a couple things that I want to get to just before I forget. Champ says you can't expect to be as successful as Georgia or Bama. Why are we paying a coach at the same level? Well, look, that's just my take on it. Like, I could be wrong, right? Maybe you can. And that's why you take that shot to pay Brian Kelly, because being such a process-oriented guy that's won at such a high level over such a large sample size, you feel that maybe that is someone who can kind of change how I'm evaluating the situation and can bring you that consistency. So you're trying to make it happen. I don't think you can, but that's just my opinion. I could definitely be wrong. Like, maybe you can be that good and that consistent, and maybe BK will be the one to get you there. Zach Moe, which, by the way, Zach, thank you so much for that incredible 3D printed Gollum head that you gave me, made of pure metal. It's awesome. I love fidgeting with it in my office. Zach Moe says, how does a center so consistently have bad snaps this far into the year? Serious question. Is it nerves, technique? Yeah, I don't know. It's been a problem for Bama center the entire year, though. He's been awful. He has been awful. And the second fumbled snap was one of the worst snaps I've ever seen. And then not only was it low, but it somehow flipped end over end. Like, it was knuckleballing. Like, I know Kirk said, Jalen's got to take some responsibility here. I disagree. I think that was one of the most uncatchable snaps that didn't, like, in terms of a snap that didn't bounce and was not skied, that was as bad of a snap as you could have had. And then it reared its ugly head once again on the final play, which was, it was not a QB draw. It was an RPO, where if you go and watch, you send the running back out on a route right before the snap, right? And you're reading the Mike linebacker. You see, or it actually might be the Will. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You're reading the linebacker as the running back man on man. If he goes with the running back, you're supposed to run it. If he stays, then you dump it. Well, he takes off towards the running back, and you still maybe could have had enough room to throw it potentially, but the read is to run it there. The problem is the low snap kind of influenced Milroe to panic a bit, because if he had had a more patient run and if he had followed the guard, he would have easily been able to work his way around the edge, as Michigan kind of overcommitted a bit. But the low snap kind of, like I said, it speeds everything up. He feels like he has to go. It gets him on his back heel, and, well, then he just runs into the big blue wall, and Michigan ends up as champion. So I don't hate it. I don't think it was a bad play call. I think it was bad execution, even though I know a lot of Alabama fans are very upset with Tommy Rees right now. All right, let's dive in to some weekend winners.
That's how winning is done.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do. What's that?
Win the whole thing.
Yeah, look, I'm just going to start with the team that keeps winning, the Washington Huskies, dude. 21 in a row, I believe now? 21 wins in a row. And the moment I would go back to is Kalen DeBoer's halftime interview. When I talk about intangibles, I felt like everything was on display as Washington secretly dominated the first half. They had almost 10 yards of play to Texas, like 5.6, right? And yet, because of fumbled punt and because that drive where they got stopped on fourth down in the red zone, and because of a real impressive drive from Quinn Ewers and that Texas offense, who couldn't get anything going in the first half, then they go 10 plays, 72 yards when they absolutely need it, and they tie the game. So it's a weird situation where all of a sudden Washington's been dominating, but it's 21-21 at half. And you're kind of feeling like, and Texas has some momentum, and you're kind of feeling like, okay, well, like, Texas isn't going to play that bad again the second half, and, like, so does this mean they're going to win? And Kalen DeBoer in that halftime interview basically says, look, man, we're fine. We're not strangers to this situation. We've been in this situation all year long, and it's exactly what we talked about last week, where this is a Washington team like water. They take the shape, whatever container they're poured into. They do whatever they need to do in order to win the game on that day. We talked about a commitment to the running game. 31 carries, even though it wasn't that effective, because you have to make sure that your opponent respects it. You have to lead on them. It's a physical portion. It helps wear them down. It's a play action. It's just it was just a masterclass, I believed, in finding ways to win, even though they almost got one of the most bad breaks of all time, as Dylan Johnson gets hurt, give Texas an extra timeout. And then Texas gets 4 plays from the 12 to try to win the game. But you know what they did? They won. And now guess what? Despite being picked to lose in every one of these games, they've beaten Oregon 3 times in a row. They've beaten Texas 2 years in a row. This Washington football team is awesome.
You know who else is awesome? Missouri. That was going to be my first weekend winner. What a season by the Tigers, and Eli Drinkowitz actually got a contract extension over the weekend, so he's a weekend winner too. They beat Ohio State outright as an underdog in the Cotton Bowl. That's their first appearance in a New Year's Six Bowl in the last 10 years in the CFP era. So it's big time what Eli's been able to do, man, especially in this age of NIL, you know, getting guys like Luther Burden to stay home, picking Missouri over Georgia and Alabama, shows that people really believe in the vision, and now they have something tangible to believe in. So Missouri, a weekend winner for the season they put together, and Eli Drinkowitz, a weekend winner for getting that contract extension.
Sounds like you were on that Mizzou money line as well.
Yes, sir. You know it.
Good payout, that and the Washington money line, boys. Taylor, what you got? Weekend winner, the refs?
Do what?
Weekend winner, the refs for you?
They'd be weekend losers, but I'm not going there. I'm going to do weekend winner, and I hate to keep propping up LSU's rivals, but Lane Kiffin's got to be a weekend winner. I mean, for the longest time, people are like, hey, Lane Kiffin can't win the big game, and that showed up time and time again, but he went out there against a tough Penn State team and really controlled that game from the start. I mean, I think that Ole Miss was in control of that game from start to finish. They looked really good. He's got Jackson Dart coming back. We know he's cleaned up in the transfer portal. Lane Kiffin's hot right now, so weekend winner Lane Kiffin.
You mentioned signature win. I think that's massive. I think also the last thing I needed to see out of Ole Miss was toughness, and especially toughness in the trenches. And say what you will about Penn State, they're not a dynamic team. They don't have weapons, but they are tough as hell. And Ole Miss bullied them. And to your point, that was a massive statement going into next year where, Ole Miss should make the 12-team playoff. If they don't make the 12-team playoff, that should be a disappointing season for Ole Miss fans, which is insane. And again, for Lane now, the most impressive part is you've done it with 2 quarterbacks now, right? You rode Matt Corral to 10 regular season wins, something that had never been done in school history. Then Jackson, you won, everything falls apart, and you have the real, okay, that was a fluky year. It's still Kiffin. It's still Ole Miss. Big fluke year. This is their real colors, 7-6 with the collapse, lose the Egg Bowl. So then they come back that next year and go 10-2, again, something that's only done for the second time in school history, and then win 11 for the first time in school history over a tough 10 state team. Yeah, it's massive. And now it's up to this defense next year. It's up to Pete Golding to do good with all the weapons that he's been given. The one thing that's tough, that is going to be tough, man, and I know Kevin talks about it all the time to the fore of his mind, but it is how do you create culture when it's such a transient sort of group that you're putting together? How do you get everybody to buy in and be on the same page? And look, he did it this year, so maybe he is learning how to do that and will be able to. But yes, we're like the Palpatine meme watching Ole Miss, we'll watch your career with great interest as they look like they could emerge out of the ladder of chaos that is this current era of college football as one of the more consistent winners.
Yeah, and I mean, look, first time in school history, back-to-back 10-win seasons, and we talked about it. He gets Dart back.
Or not back-to-back, because they had the bad year in between. But it's the first 11 win in school history, and the 10 regular season wins, which they've done twice in 3 years, had never been done before.
And they get Dart back. They get Quinshaw Judkins back. There's your 2 best offensive players. And we talked about it like he's cleaning up in the portal and he's doing it defensively. That's what you're talking about. Like, this defense needs to come around. If they can, watch out.
Also, there's a lot of talk about me fumbling snaps. Check the tape, you bums. I never fumbled a snap. Okay, dude. Back off, dude. Back off. Tennessee was a good snap, too. And I don't think it counts as a fumble because I don't think it's a play because they had 13 people on the field. That was a good snap. Go watch the tape. Let's see what we got here. Weekend winner. I mean, as we said, just the entire college football product was awesome, dude. Finally, the four-team playoff going out on top gives you one of the most controversial, whether you agree or disagree, interesting Final Four selections of all time. It's a Final Four grouping that featured all of the different conferences, which we rarely get. All very viable championship candidates, no overwhelming favorite. And then we got delivered 2 fantastic semifinal games. So even though we're going to move into a new, but I mean, and to be clear, like, I think we could be moving into a bit of a golden age of college football. And all yesterday did was get me even more excited for a more democratized 12-team playoff and the good games that we'll get. But the Final Four, for all of its flaws, really went out on top this year, boys. Yeah. So good on you. Good on you.
I'm into the expanded playoff, man. I was somewhat against it in the beginning, but I'm kind of hyped for it now. Anyway, I'm going to basketball for my next weekend winner, and this one honestly kind of hurts, but Will Wade is a weekend winner. McNeese State 11-2, first place in the Southland Conference. They upset Michigan in Ann Arbor on Friday night. That's another quadrant 2 win for them. They have 2 this season.
Like double digits, right?
Yeah, by 99-87, I believe was the final score. Had the money line too. Shout out Will Wade. But LSU, meanwhile, 2-16 under Matt McMahon last year. They're 8-5 this year, looking slightly better, but the SEC schedule looks pretty daunting. I definitely still wish Will Wade was LSU's coach, so he's a weekend winner.
Did you see the Southland Conference, which, remember, they trolled UL the other day with the here's that extra L you've got. Did you see their one to Michigan?
No.
I don't know if it was at the stands in that game. It kind of looked like it was, but it's a picture of Connor Stallions in the stands, and it said, not even Connor Stallions can save you. So whoever runs the South, like, whichever young kid is running the Southland Conference social media accounts doing a very good job and really leaning into the resource that is Will Wade.
Hell yeah, American gangster.
Yeah. Taylor?
Yeah, I'm going to go weekend loser here. This is not because they lost the game, but I am going weekend loser, Florida State. You had a chance to go out there at full strength other than Jordan. T-Bob, you can disagree, but this actually happened. We all watched it. They had so many opt-outs in this game. Kirby Smart talked about it after the game, like, what do we have to do to fix this? Florida State had a chance to go out there and prove that
What do you have to do to fix this? What do you have to do to fix this? Give them the opportunity they earned. What do you mean? So what are you actually saying, though?
They should have went out there and proved that the committee got it wrong. Instead, they all just opted out, and the guys that did go out there and play, their second and third string guys had to lose by 60 to Georgia. That's set wrong with me.
Yeah, because they got screwed.
I understand that, but after that, they just was like, we quit.
Because they're all major NFL prospects. Why should they? I mean, they did everything that they were told they needed to do to get a chance to play for a national championship, and then they were denied. Like, that's extreme injustice. If they would have been in the playoff, how many opt out?
Oh, none of them.
Exactly.
That's my point.
So
like,
what
just
are we
because you got
talking about?
screwed, you're like, I'm done.
No, a lot of big-time NFL prospects don't play in the bowl game if it's not a championship bowl game. That's not unique to Florida State. I find it shocking that you think that it's surprising that an injustice that deep would not cause some sort of mass exodus. Look at what happened to LSU after we lost to Natty in 2011. That body blow was so extreme that so many guys just said, F it, I'm going to the league. Guys were leaving to be 7th-round picks. Like, when you take a blow like that, it has, like, I feel bad because through no fault of his own, this is such a body blow that, like, I don't know if Florida State ever comes back from this. Like, this is such a deep wound. It has the ability to fester, and I think Norvell's really handled it as well as he can. But no, it's festering. And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't find, and I guess this is just opinion based.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Like you said, do they recover from this? I don't know. But if Florida State would have went in there and been competitive and lost to Georgia by 3, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. But
the problem is it kind of, I almost feel like by extension you're saying that this proves something about the selection.
No, absolutely
and it doesn't at
not.
all.
I'm saying the people who think it does are going to beat their chest and be like, see, Florida State didn't belong, but they were not at full strength. They had a chance to be like,
if
we
that's
did
your take,
belong
you're
in this
just
game.
dumb.
And I get it, yeah. And did they belong in the college football playoff? I think they did. But instead of going out there and be like, you know what, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna play one more game together, we're gonna show them that we did belong. They didn't do it. Again, it is opinionated. I didn't like it.
I think that you're just kind of, I mean, to me, and this, like I said, it's opinion. To me, I can just really empathize and see how an injustice that deep, combined with the fact that already, you're like, already guys in bowl games that are big-time NFL prospects have to decide whether or not they want to take the risk of the bowl game, right? I mean, Brian Kelly straight up told Malik Neighbors to get out the game yesterday once he got his record. He made him sit. He said Malik pushed back a little bit, and he's like, no, bruh, you're out of here, right? So with that, those external factors combined with that injustice, I just don't find it hard to understand at all why everybody left. It was just a classic, oh, well, this is how you're going to treat us? All right, dude, whatever then.
Like,
I'm out. I'm out.
We're not disagreeing. We just have differing opinions on this matter. There's no right or wrong way to look at this. I just thought it would have been good for Florida State's program and all that for them to show up, show out, and possibly beat Georgia, and they opted out. I didn't like it. I mean, again,
Brett Moore says UGA wasn't
it.
Disappointed too. There's a difference. I mean, UGA law. If you can, all anybody wants in life is to say, okay, I understand how I arrived here. Is UGA disappointed? Absolutely, but they lost the SEC championship. They knew if they lost that game, they weren't going to make the playoff. That's where the injustice of the matter comes in. Like. So, yeah, and plus, like, a bunch of these guys are being paid to play in the bowl games, too, right? And UGA has a better payment system than does others. Like, if I had to listen to the announcers fillet the Bulldogs one more time about playing in this game when I know, like, a lot of them are getting paid to play in it, too, it's like, get the hell out of here, dude. Yeah, so no, UJ understood how they were where they were. Florida State just got told, no, we don't think you're good enough. I know you went undefeated. You did everything that you're supposed to do, but we just don't think you're good enough. And that is a wound, that has the ability to break you. But I don't know. I think that, look, to be fair, Taylor, I know a lot of people feel your way. I just feel passionately against it. Bunny Money, I'm shocked they had more people at the Saints game than LSU yesterday. That stadium looked sad and empty. Look, bro, there's just not a lot of, the Christmas time is expensive. If you're LSU, you're used to kind of competing for championships. Not a lot of people are going to want to spend a bunch of money and go down to Tampa for the ReliaQuest Bowl.
The lower bowl looked decent and looked like all the LSU people.
I feel like on the edges, that's because they're trying to give you the good shots. But sometimes when you see like an end zone shot, it was just like.
Yeah, when they were kicking the extra ball. I rewatched the highlights this morning, and it's like.
It was empty.
It's like whole rows where people have whole rows to themselves. Yeah.
Hey, shout out if you went. True LSU fans.
Yeah. Well, and it's probably fun, empty stadium, kind of chill, just kind of run around, do whatever you want.
No line at the concession stand.
No line at the concession, no bathroom lines. All right, when we get back, let's do a little mailbag. Get your questions in. More OTB coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Coleman Roofing and Construction. Happy New Year from your friends at Coleman. And look, we love teaming up with local business that we believe in. And when you're talking about Coleman Roofing, you're talking about a company that's been at it now, y'all, for 41 years. 42 years now? Since 1982. How about that? Like I say, they're Louisiana's most reliable and respected roofing company. But beyond that, the bottom line is that they do everything, right? Like they do any type of roof that you need. If it's residential, if it's a giant commercial project, they do it all. They service all of Louisiana and now even extending into the entire Gulf South region. And what's crazy is they've grown this large over those last 40 years, and it's been all by word of mouth, right? And referrals and satisfied customers. And so that's why I'm so happy now to be given the opportunity to partner with these guys and help spread the good word of Coleman Roofing and Construction. They're the absolute best. Go check them out. Coleman Roofing and Construction.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Hey, look what I found! The motivation I needed to live healthier. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why. Have you found yours?
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee. $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee. And all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
New year from the Hunt Palmer Show to you and yours. Hunt is back Tuesday to recap LSU Wisconsin in the ReliaQuest Bowl and Saints Bucks. Hunt Palmer Show weekdays 1 to 3 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back, OTB. So at the end of last night's game, Taylor, if you didn't get to watch it, we nearly had one of the most insanely bad beats you would have ever seen in college football, where Washington got the ball back. They have an opportunity to basically run it down, like because of Texas timeouts, they have 2. But Washington can give the ball back. Texas with like 15 seconds left, right? So they run it, timeout. Texas out of timeouts. They run it again. Dylan Johnson gets hurt. Can't get off the field, which then stops the clock, essentially giving Texas an extra timeout. And then all of a sudden, Texas has a full 50 seconds to go and try to win the game with. There's a kick-catch interference, which gives them 15. They hit a bomb, and then Texas gets 4 plays from the 12, including 1 play with 1 second left. So, it went from being okay, Washington's already won this game. They're going to be able to basically nail it out. They should have knelt it instead of running it. To then losing Dylan Johnson, who's probably out for the Natty, given that he went off on a cart, and nearly opening the door for Texas to somehow win a game that they had no business winning. Would have been absolutely brutal. But no Dylan Johnson for the Natty, really potentially a very big loss. And on the final play of what you thought was basically a victory formation level play. Real insanity, dude. All right, let's get into some OTB mailbag.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for off the bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
All right, what's up, y'all? Hashtag OTB mailbag. Will shaving all my body hair off count as becoming a new person this year? Only if you do your eyebrows as well. Because, if you shave your body hair, that's kind of is what it is. But if you shave your eyebrows, that's so disconcerting that you will absolutely look like a new person. So, good luck. It's not going to look weird at all, because it comes from Scott Dice, who I've met, and he's like 6'8". Can you imagine a 6'8" human being without eyebrows? Where's Josh Dobbs? Or no, wait, who's the old basketball player?
Charlie Villanueva.
Yes, Villanueva. Has to go to my best drink at Epcot. I'm going violet sake in Japan. Canada has Le Fin du Monde beers, which are some of my favorite beers. I'm not a big cocktail guy, and then I love the Oos beers and the white ale from Norway as well. I can't really speak to the Epcot cocktails because I don't get them as much. I'm just not. He's not the biggest cocktail.
Do you have a favorite food spot in Disney, like at any of the parks, or a favorite restaurant?
No. I just like walking around Epcot and tasting a little bit of everything. They do a really fantastic job of, they have to churn this food out 24/7, right? And so achieving the quality that they do is impressive to me. Even at the Little American stand, I basically had a tiny little Thanksgiving meal that was actually really, really well done. Stuffing, turkey, gravy, all of it. Even though I am a little basic boy and I do love fish and chips in the Little England fish and chips place. I actually. Hashtag go to be mailbag. We popped fireworks for our gender reveal and found out baby number 2 is a boy. So we'll have 2 boys under 1.5 come May. Congratulations. Which reminds me, Weekend Loser, Big Papi whiffing on the gender reveal. Did you see this?
No.
David Ortiz had a gender reveal in which his wife throws him an underhanded pitch that he's supposed to hit to reveal the baby, and she jams him up high and tight on the inside, and he whiffs. He completely misses it. He misses the pitch, and then like confetti goes off that shows that it's a boy or whatever. But Papi can't even appreciate it because he's so embarrassed. He's turned around and picking up yeah, watch this, dude. Look at the location. Jammed him up. And then he's immediately turned around and bent over picking up the ball like, damn it. Oh, man. Hashtag go to mailbag. Where's the bomber jacket? It's a good question. It's at home. I have a new jacket this year. Hashtag go to mailbag. Making any New Year's resolutions? No, I never do. Do y'all?
I used to. Not really. I want to be a little more proactive, procrastinate a little less. That's maybe the only tangible thing I can think of.
There you go, dude. Georgia didn't get, what? Alex B says, I mean, there were 2 teams that game up. Georgia players didn't opt out. They got screwed over as well. How did Georgia get screwed over?
Georgia didn't get screwed over. They lost the SEC championship.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they weren't going to get in. They didn't get screwed over.
No, I wouldn't say they got screwed over. I don't think those 2 situations are comparable.
No. All right, look, I know this was a quick segment, but let's go ahead and go to break because we got Kim Mulkey coming up next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
So join us for Tuesday's AFR presented by Sunshine. Matt is back in the host chair. We're recapping LSU, Wisconsin, and the ReliaQuest Bowl. Saints and Bucks. It's Tuesday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
We have to take it up a notch now. Everything we do has to be a little bit harder, a little bit more aggressive. The first part of our season is over. We have to evaluate what we think we did in the first part of our season, and we have to flush it. Now you go into the most important part, and that is SEC play. It is a direct quote from our next guest, the badass coach Kim Mulkey, as LSU women's basketball moves out of like she said, the first portion. Conference play opened up this Thursday in the PMAC, 8 p.m. against Mizzou. It's going to be on the SEC Network. Go pack out the PMAC. Go support this team. Coach Mulkey, what's going on? Happy New Year. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, Happy New Year to you guys. Now, I know you're football folks, and you got to admit those two games yesterday did a lot for college football.
They're great. Yeah, no, I mean, we talked about it. It's kind of interesting as so much changes, and you're going to this 12-team playoff era. The 4-team version kind of saved the best for last, right? You had conference champions from four different conferences squaring up, good games, overtime between Alabama, Michigan, and the Rose Bowl. Like, yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one for sure.
It was really a good day, and it's even better when you don't have a dog in the fight and you don't get emotionally attached to either game, but you just love college football. And wow, it really was outstanding yesterday.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, Coach, is that I do have a deep and never-ending hatred for Alabama. So anytime they lose, I'm a happy camper.
You don't want me to get on here and say roll tide.
No,
baby.
No. Well, actually, you can say it, whatever. They can roll their way back to Tuscaloosa or fly. I guess you can't really drive from California. Coach, so I do want to talk to you about completing this first portion of the season, though, because I know that you're always very honest in how you evaluate your team, right? And you've always been very clear about what this first portion of the season represents. Like, sure, some people want to challenge themselves on these great out-of-conference games, but you're talking about, no, you got to manage this. You got to build your tournament resume in smart and shrewd ways, and you got to, especially now where there's so much turnover, like, you got to find ways to get this roster to come together and be the team that's now going to start kind of the true grind of the season. So when you evaluate your squad, how do you believe they grew, and what did they show you? How would you score them coming out of this almost like pseudo preseason?
You break our season down in 4 phases: non-conference, conference, SEC tournament, and then the NCAA tournament. So a fourth of it is gone. And we want to win 90% of our non-conference games, and we did that. So you kind of flush that now. You talk about things. I visited with the team about all the things we went through in non-conference, from Angel not playing to Kateri Poole gone to Samaya Smith's injury. And let's talk about that. What did we do? How did we respond when those things were presented? And we kept winning. We kept winning. And I don't care who you play, when you have disruptions, it can create a lot of turmoil in the locker room, and we didn't allow that to happen. So I think we grew a lot in the fact that we were continuing to win without those players. Now, certainly, we're a better team with those players, and we've had, good practices since Haley Van Lith. I didn't even mention her. She was out the last month with plantar fasciitis, so now she's back on the floor. So getting her back, getting Angel back, getting in a rhythm, getting in practice every day, it's just going to make us better that we survived what we did. And let's hope and pray we keep them all healthy, and we have a good SEC run here.
Coach, is it ever? And I know you don't engage with a lot of this. You're very much a kind of head down, just get to work, kind of screw the outside world. But it almost has a feeling like y'all are like the bad girls of college basketball. Like, I don't know what it is, but everybody seems to just be kind of hoping for your downfall. Do y'all engage with any of this as like a galvanizing factor, or are you more of the block out the noise philosophy?
I don't know any of what's said on social media. I just don't have it on my phone, but everybody wants to either pull for a team or despise a team. Detroit Pistons were so good here, and Rodman and Isaiah Thomas and all those guys. They were bad boys. Hey, bad because they were. I would think a lot of people may not like the trash talking, may not like the excitement and the, just the passion that we play with. And everyone is entitled to that. All I want to do is win, and I want to win the right way, and that is defend you and rebound the ball. I can't make you like me. I can't make somebody just fall in love with LSU women's basketball. What I hope they do is they see through the personalities and go, whether you like them or not, they win. And I say this, and see, Bob, you're not going to like this, but I'm going to say it. Whether you like Nick Saban or not, he wins.
No, yes, it's a begrudging respect, right? Like I can severely dislike the school and the pain that I have suffered at that man's hands, but also recognize that yes, you, him, the greats, like y'all have a process that is unrivaled, and the results speak for themselves.
And I don't really. Now, if there's something that I read, if it's in a newspaper, and I can tell you, if it's in the Advocate or if it's in the Waco newspaper, I read that because obviously I'm connected to those cities. If I read something that's bulletin board material, I may address it with the team and try to fire them up. But 70% of what we do in this business is motivating young people. You can teach them all the X's and O's in the world, but if you've got a boring coach, it doesn't matter how smart that coach is if that coach can't motivate them to play.
Well, I don't think there are many words that I think people have used to describe you, Coach. I remember Coach Kelly said he thought that you could make a cup of coffee nervous. I don't know that I would say that boring has ever been one of them. So we're out of the first quarter of the season. We're now into the second quarter. When it comes to accomplishing your goals in conference play, through the years, what have you kind of found to be the keys to getting that done?
Be realistic with what your expectations are. It drives me nuts to hear all these coaches and all these collegiate sports say, man, our goal is to win a national championship. Well, you're not capable, so don't put that on a piece of paper. That sounds wonderful, but I'm a realist. I live in the real world, and I think that if we can finish in the top 4 in the SEC, your chances of getting a top 16 seed in the NCAA tournament are great, and if you do that, you get to host the first and second round because that's how much respect people have for the SEC. And so I don't go and say, okay, man, we got to win the SEC. Look, I know how good South Carolina is. I know how many players they have back.
Yep.
I think we can compete with them, but I keep it real.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think we all know that, and that's one of the reasons why we love having you on so much, why everybody loves hearing from you every single week. So this Thursday, SEC play, opening up in the PMAC, LSU, Mizzou, 8 p.m. Go pack out the PMAC. You can't make it to the game. You can watch it on the SEC Network. Traveling Ole Miss on Sunday. Coach Mulkey, really looking forward to talking with you next week. Happy New Year. I hope you had a great holidays, Christmas, New Year's, all of that. I know it's a crazy busy time for y'all, but thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, and y'all have a wonderful, wonderful 2024, and we're going to fight like heck to represent this institution and do good.
Heck, yes. Thank you so much, Coach. Coach Kim Mulkey, the 7th-ranked LSU Fighting Tigers, defending that national championship. How do you think she was talking to Clark Lee specifically?
Thought she was talking to Jimbo.
Remember Clark Lee a couple years ago was talking, what was the quote? It was like, we're going to win,
We're going to win national championships. Yeah, he said that our goal is to win national championships.
Yeah. Oh, man. But that realness, again, it's something that a lot of people shy away from. That realness is how you get your team to not make too much of something that doesn't matter. Like LSU loses to South Carolina last year. Okay, whatever. The goal's top 4 in the SEC, and then we got a tournament to play. And that's when it's ultimately going to be decided. And look what happens as LSU ends up as national champions. What a legend. What a legend. All right, when we get back, let's close out hour number 2 of OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. You already know, look, man, Toyotathon's going on. I hope you've been taking advantage of some of the great deals. You know how I feel about the Toyota Sienna. I've now purchased not once but twice. The new updated Sienna is really wild. It's got a hybrid, incredible gas mileage. It's the best. But what about the body shop, right? Because that's what we're wanting to push right now. And so if you need work on your vehicle, you've gotten into an accident, insurance claims are welcome. And it's all makes and models. It's not just Toyotas. It's off of Goodwood and Airlines, very conveniently located. The staff is unreal, y'all. The lines of communication with the free professional update as their estimate, as they're texting you updates throughout, no decisions made without your saying go ahead, instantaneous responses. Miss Lisa Sessions has you rental cars right there on site if it's a multi-day job. They got shuttle services. They're the best. All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always
Join us for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Mid-City. We're back after the National Championship semifinals and LSU's bowl game. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. on Tuesday from 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Shout out everyone who came out of Whiskey and Wine yesterday. Shout out Walk-Ons Burbank for hosting us. Shout out to Tsuma Valve and Control as well for sponsoring the show. I mean, I really tied one on New Year's Eve. Me and my wife did a selfish thing, and we left the kids behind, and us and a bunch of other couples boarded a party bus at 4 p.m. to start going bar hopping, which ended with me in bed, passed out at 10:30. So definitely did not make it to midnight. But then I wake up, let my wife sleep in, took the kids to breakfast solo, got a little Waffle House in me, which I was shocked to learn this, dude. So my boy Teddy, I was talking to at the Waffle House. And I can see this. This actually makes sense in retrospect, but apparently, because Waffle House is open like every day, right, 24/7. So apparently, like the same way that maybe for a lot of people in New York, like going to like a Chinese restaurant, like a Christmas tradition, like Waffle House is a Christmas tradition. My guy Teddy worked 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Christmas Day and said it was slammed the entire time, which, again, shout out to all the homies having to work on holidays. But I guess the point of this is then go straight from there, straight from that New Year's Eve, which is a bit of a bender, to then Whiskey and Wine, where I'm drinking like I normally do, but chat's just yelling at me to get more drunk, which ends up me having to chug a 22-ounce beer, and then a car bomb is dropped off my lap 2 seconds later. Straight from there into post-game snap shows for the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. That ended about 1 a.m. last night. Now here hanging out with the homies. When I tell you when I get done today, I'm going to be chilling. And I was just telling the boys that like I need a little bit of a detox. This Christmas season has been very fun. And I love getting a little sideways and around Christmas and drinking way more whiskey and stuff. But ooh, I'm getting old, boys. I can feel it in my bones. I'm starting to lose some of that soar with the Eagles ability. So we going. No, that's true. I mean, look, a little hair of the dog goes a long way, but the problem is you are just off-putting the payday, right? Like I'm basically treating my body like the Saints salary cap. I'm just bit by bit. We haven't even talked about the Saints game. We got to get to that. We got Nick Underhill coming up at 9:15. He's going to give us the real insight. But I'm just bit by bit, I'm kind of pushing off the eventual crash that's probably coming. And I guess I'm talking about all this because I kind of feel it coming now. Like a lot of rib pain, a little heartburn going on. Oh boy. But we gonna make it. At least you got a lot of great sports to talk about. Like it was an awesome weekend. Shout out LSU, getting the big win, entering the offseason on a high note, and now just an uber important year number 3 for Brian Kelly. Yeah, I agree with Scott. Time to dry out and hit the garage weight room. Yep. Push-ups during the breaks are about to start to come back. All that sort of stuff. Am I about to throw up? Jeez.
Hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too. That'd be really bad. Does anybody have any Tums?
I don't.
God, it feels like my heart's on fire. All right, when we get back, hour 3, OTB. Keep it locked. Nick Underhill, Saints Talk, sports, stuff. Pelicans? OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
RejuveMeMedical.com, RejuveMeMedical.com. Restore me, refuel me, rejuve me. You want to get that youthful, energetic feeling, right? You want to soar with the Eagles like you used to back in the day when you could go on spring break and just do whatever you wanted every single night and wake up with a pep in your step? Well, Rejuve me. I mean, look, I don't know if they can bring you back to full spring break 18-year-old status, but you get pretty damn close. Whether it's andropause, menopause, facial aging, mood and memory problems, insomnia, workouts not giving you the results that they used to, weight gain that you can't really explain. These are all the effects of untreated aging. So let Rejuve me treat it. You do upkeep on your home, on your computers, on your cars. Why do you expect your body to just age normally? Like take it to the body shop. Do some work. Maybe it's HRT. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's semaglutide. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like some B vitamin shots for energy. But the point is they can customize a plan for you. RejuveMeMedical.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Tuesday, January 2nd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect clear skies with a high of 61. Coming up on OTB, Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football joins the show at 9:15 to talk Saints. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome in. OTB hour number 3. T-Bob Taylor Mario hanging out with you today. Hope you're having a wonderful New Year's. Boys, Christmas and New Year's was good for y'all, though?
It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like, some time off was much needed. I really do feel rejuvenated. And also, obviously, time to be grateful for family, friends that are still in your lives at this stage. So, yeah, it was really good for me.
Absolutely. Being, taking time to reflect and being thankful for what you have, I think, is one of the most rejuvenating things that you can do in life. It's probably like my favorite part about going to church, actually. What about you, Taylor?
Yeah, it was a good trip to Gatlinburg for Christmas. I was telling Mario during the break.
Is there snow there? Did you have a white Christmas or no?
Actually, it was probably colder when I got back down here. I mean, it was mid-50s most of the trip. I mean, it was not what you would think. A ton of people up there. I was telling Mario during the break, like, everyone in my family, like wife included, got like really sick on vacation, and I didn't. So now I'm worried.
Different.
Now I'm worried that in like a week I'm gonna be like super sick. Like I dodged it. I don't know how. I did like my Floyd Mayweather or something. I mean, I was dodging punches left and right. But no, it was a good trip overall. I had a nice long break, but I was happy to be back this morning. It felt weird because I got back like late Thursday night, took off Friday, so I still had like a 4-day weekend ahead of me after the trip. So it felt weird like being off that long.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, but that's exactly how you kind of reset yourself for the new push. Because I'm not gonna lie, here on January 2nd, I don't feel too unlike Garrett Nussmeier staring down that 98-yard field. You know what I'm saying? There's sometimes like kind of like the middle of January when you're just like, okay, let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. We cranking it up another year. But I hope everybody had a very fulfilled New Year. Apologies to my kids for not doing any fireworks with them, and me and my wife selfishly just going to party. But
how was the party bus? I feel like a lot of people say party buses are underwhelming a lot of the times.
Well, it's so a couple of thoughts here. The advantage of a party bus is not the partying that takes place on the bus, though that is fun. It's the freedom and the excitement that comes from knowing that you have a responsible mode of transportation in which the entire kind of goal is to get as sideways as you want, as sideways as possible, if you would say. And we were doing like bar hopping, right? So we weren't the party on the bus was ancillary. That was just getting from place to place and then eventually ending. And also you'll see once you like get older and I mean, I'm sure you got some of this already actually, but like once you have kids, just the freedom of no children and like really no responsibility, like you don't have work the next day. You don't have to wake up early. You don't have to drive. It's a wonderful potent, exciting combination that I think had all of us 30 to 40-year-olds on the bus ready to get sideways.
Hell yeah.
And so, yeah, even though I have been on party buses that you could say actually were tight in and of themselves. Like, I remember we took some to a Marty, like Endymion back in the day and stuff like that, from like the full hour drive, and they had like poles on them and were giant. And like that bus itself was pretty fun. And this bus was very nice, but no, this was more just about having transportation. And it always feels like kind of fun. Like my neighbors were joking when it came to pick us up at the house, it was like prom or something. You know, like we're kind of all boarding up. Everybody's dressed nice. And then you pull up to the restaurant and everybody's like, oh, what's going on there? And then you kind of step out. It's got all of that. It's got all that sort of fun.
That's what's up. Mardi Gras kind of coming up soon also.
Yeah. Yeah, we rode the Nuss bus. So it's a good call, Gray Bear. The Nuss bus got us ready for New Year's Eve, and then the Nuss bus carried us through New Year's Day. Because when I tell you I had a very fun day yesterday and I was so happy, but it would have all been completely different had I had to spend 2 hours of my life talking about LSU losing to this version of Wisconsin. Right? This is not when you lost to them at Lambeau and Ryan Ramczyk was the tackle. Like, this is not Wisconsin that was fighting for Rose Bowls and New Year's Six Bowls. This version of Wisconsin sucks. Now, Luke Fickell's still a very good coach, right? And I believe he'll do well. And I think you could see some of that yesterday, certainly. But, yeah, watching Tanner Mordecai chop you up hurt already enough. But if you hadn't won the game and you had lost to Tanner Mordecai throwing for that many yards, and didn't y'all just, I mean, the amount of fear in the room as LSU scores to go up at the end of the game, and then they know they got to go play defense. And like, it was so hard to fight against the creeping pessimism that the defense was going to end this god-awful year with just an absolute collapse and waste this beautiful moment from the offense in Nussmeier. And that's where they deserve credit. That's where Mekhi Wingo, Mason Smith, that front seven deserve credit for kind of putting their heels in the sand and saying, okay, regardless of what has been up to this point, not today. We're not going to let it happen. And they come up with the big back-to-back plays. And then very smartly on that last play, and Kelly talked about this after the game, running I think they called it like victory blitz or something, basically saying, we're not going to sit here and play prevent and give you forever to throw. We're just going to get after you, force a quick throw, and then make the tackle or make you play underneath. And obviously the throw didn't even get off.
Yeah, you were talking about like you felt like the defense was going to let you down. I was watching the game with my family. My dad and brother, they're like cheering, Nussmeier throws the winning touchdown. I look at the clock and there's a minute 45 left. And my dad looks at me, he's like, "Why aren't you happy?" I was like, "We scored too quick."
Yeah.
We scored too quickly. We gave them too much time. I was like, LSU's going to lose this game.
And that's kind of what it felt like. And the fact that it would have been by 1 point as well, it was all lining up to be bad. Again, so credit the defense then for kind of bowing up and finding a way and sending you into the offseason in a really positive way. Speaking of Ramczyk, you also the ESPN report he's thinking of retiring early due to ligament damage. Yeah, I get it, dude. I mean, think about it. Max Unger walked away early. I mean, it's such a brutal game, dude. It's what makes the Cam Jordans of the world all the more impressive and all the more freakish, that he can still be out there playing at a high level. And even if he's not Cam Jordan, I mean, still playing at like a starter level, playing every play. Seemingly his body's one of the weird ones where he doesn't even seem like he's hurting. Like, I'm sure if you just watch Ryan Ramczyk walk around on a day-to-day basis, you would see why he's contemplating retirement. Cam Jordan looks like he could do this forever. I don't know how it's possible.
Got to put DeMario in that class as well. He looks just awesome every single Sunday, man. It's amazing. Like, the mentals are still there, but the physicals, like, there's very little drop-off. And the Saints can still make the playoffs, sure, but it kind of feels like it's being wasted, kind of like it was with Drew Brees when we had those bad defenses. But still shout out to DeMario Davis, man. Like Cam Jordan, he brings it every Sunday. And at this age, at this stage in his career, that's incredibly impressive.
He gets faster and faster, which you should not be able to do. It's wild. Oh, man, what did I want to say? We had something else that...
Cam. Saints.
Yeah, I think it's gone. Greg Lamont saying Chris Hilton's foot had to be out of bounds. That maybe it was. You know, if they had called that, if that had been a Wisconsin receiver, I think we would all be probably complaining about and upset about it. But hey, you just got to remember when you get the good breaks, right? Because there's always, and you see this in card games a lot, or games that involve randomness, where I can't remember, it's like negative confirmation bias or something. I can't remember the exact term for it, but everybody always remembers when they lose because of bad luck, but your brain has a way of convincing yourself when you get good luck and you win that you did it through skill, right? And so, like, just remember when you get a questionable call that goes your way, log those positive ones so you can balance out the ledger sheet when you get a questionable call that goes against you. Because that Hilton one was there was a very funny moment at Whiskey and Wine where they have the one angle that looks like it's going to actually be the definitive shot of was his foot in, was it out? And then right as it's panning, there's a cameraman standing right where Chris Hilton's foot was, and an impromptu cameraman chant broke out throughout walk-ons. And there was a cameraman, because he made the cameraman play stands. It's just that simple, man.
I think it was one of those plays where it's like, if they would have called it incomplete,
absolutely,
you wouldn't have necessarily been furious that they didn't overturn it, you know. And then at the same time, it's like, I don't think they're gonna. Like it was like I was looking at it.
I kind of thought the toe was clearly touching the white, like Cortland said, but I don't, you know.
It was like I was looking at it and I was like, live. I was like, he's out of bounds. I was like, oh, did he score? And then the back angle, I'm like, oh, he did. And I was like,
well, there's one angle where it looks like you clearly see green, right? But
that was the back angle. That was angled from behind him.
Because his heel did not touch. 98% of his foot clearly did not touch the white. Just kind of maybe looked like toe. But hey, what are you going to do, dude? It's all good. Winners win. Chris Hilton, silky smooth. As Graybeard says in chat, I agree. All right, when we get back, let's dive into this Saints game with Nick Underhill, New Orleans on Football. Keep it locked, OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
CentralPlumbing.org, CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. 925-8552 is the number. CentralPlumbing.org is the website. You need somebody who's been at this for a long time, y'all. 50 years. Meaning you're not gonna be able to hit them with a problem they don't know how to solve. I don't care if it's commercial, residential, whatever. They got a massive fleet now, and they've grown so much over their 5 decades because their customers are consistently satisfied. Right? It's the quality of the work. It's the fact that everybody's licensed, bonded, and insured. They send you information ahead of time about who's coming into your home, so you're very comfortable. You can trust who's coming into your home. It's the flat rate pricing structure. It's the great warranty. Once the work is done, this all combines to create a total package where you have peace of mind every single step of the way. And look, it's 24/7 emergency service, but it's not just fixes. If you want to do a bathroom remodel, upgrade, tankless water heater, whatever the case may be, it's all there for you at centralplumbing.org, 925-8552.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Hey, look what I found! The motivation I needed to live healthier. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly.
New year from the Hunt Palmer Show to you and yours. Hunt is back Tuesday to recap LSU Wisconsin in the ReliaQuest Bowl and Saints Bucks. Hunt Palmer Show weekdays 1 to 3 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Welcome back, OTB. Bill, this is my daughter's not falling asleep in my chest as I work. Is T-Bob the nap time king? I think my voice does have a little extra baritone in it today. You wanted me to read you a little bedtime story. Let's go to the phone lines. We're going to talk to our good friend Nick Underhill. New Orleans.football is the site, y'all. You already know I've been a proud NOF subscriber for 3-4 years. I mean, I guess however long the site's been out. And the analysis you get is unparalleled. And it's only getting better. Big things on the way in 2024 here for our NOF boys. And whether it's Nick, Trip, Brooke, they do the best work when it comes to New Orleans Saints. Nick, what's up, man? Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Thank you for showing up last week, even though we forgot to tell you that we were actually off.
I was in the waiting room, man. Yeah, but look, normally I'm the one that's like late, so I was do that. Like it was some nice punishment to kind of show up to the school. Nobody was at school that day, so I kind of needed it. But yeah, man. Happy New Year to all you guys. Hope you had a great Christmas, all that stuff.
So here we arrive, and the roller coaster continues for this New Orleans Saints team, right? I mean, again, it's just so hard to parse how you should feel about this team, how you should feel about wins. I think I've arrived at a place where I would like to see change no matter what, but at the same time, I don't want them to lose to the Falcons. I want them to go beat Atlanta in this final week, right? And I don't really care about overall record. Like, if you've already missed the opportunity to maybe get the draft pick you were looking for, then yes, finishing with a winning record, beating Atlanta, maybe making the playoffs. We'll see, whatever that would work out. That's all well and good. But, like, I don't know. It felt kind of good to watch the Saints kick Baker Mayfield in the Bucs' ass on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll say this as far as like change goes. This game, it doesn't matter. Like they could lose, it doesn't matter. I mean, they would have to lose in like insane fashion for it to be part of the evaluation of Dennis Allen. He's going to be the coach.
Already made.
I don't know that it's already made, but I mean, I feel strongly that I don't know how to say this, but like just based on what I know, I feel strongly that he's not going to lose his job.
So what if they had lost? And I know I'm getting into hypotheticals here. What if they had lost these last two? Like, was it on the table before Sunday's win?
Yeah, I mean, I'll get into hypothetical. Mickey Loomis doesn't like to. He said that in his interview, and it pisses everyone off every week.
That question that when my dad asked about quarterback, it's such an easy answer. Just say, yeah, we explore all options. But to get so defensive and weird, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree. But look, I think they would have had to lose in 50-3, everybody quitting type of fashion for change to be made heading into these last two. Heading into this game, I got, a stream on my page where, I'm looking at the camera and telling everybody that DA is going to be the coach next year. So get ready for it. It's just, I think they feel okay about where they're at now. I do think that there are going to be changes moving forward. I would be shocked if you don't see wholesale changes on the offensive staff, new OC, new coaches. And I think that when they do that, the person's probably not going to have any connections whatsoever to the Sean Payton tree. I think it's going to be, somebody new from the outside. Now, I'll say this, though, I thought for sure they were going to change the OC last year, and they tried, and they just couldn't get the guys they wanted, so they ran it back with what they had. So I do think, though, that they're going to make changes on that side of the ball. And, I think the direction of the organization is decided kind of right now. Now, if you somehow sneak into the playoffs and you win the Super Bowl, are people getting fired? Probably not. But I don't think they're getting into the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win a playoff game. But, I just think where they're at right now, I think that the course is kind of set. It's going to be new offensive staff. I think they know they need new players, new guys on the edge, tackles on offense. So I think just they kind of know the direction of the team. But I think it's going to be with Dennis Allen at the helm. And we'll see how it goes. I do see a reality where if you get a great offensive coordinator, maybe you are a decent team, someone that's just kind of, I guess that kind of does for DA what DA did for Sean after years of just disarray on defense and being mediocre. If you can get someone that can change it, but I'm cynical about it though, privately thinking about it.
The last 2 years.
I don't know if it's going to work. There isn't really any reason to believe in that it's going to be drastically different. But they're going to find out. And look, I kind of feel like this is Mickey Loomis making his bet because you've reached this crossroads. And I've constantly said he should be judged on what happens next and where it goes and what they're able to do. He's making the decision not to replace this guy. So I think now his legacy's decided upon, hey, this is a guy I stuck with. And if it works, Mickey probably eventually, could be in that Hall of Fame discussion, given his credentials, is how many wins he has. He's top 10 all time. If it doesn't, I think it kind of soils everything that kind of already happened before. So it's an interesting place just overall for the whole entire franchise.
The Hall of Fame take is interesting simply because he's also in as untouchable of a position as a GM as any that we've ever seen. So it's almost unfair in a way to judge him against fellow GMs. Though overall, look, it's been a very successful tenure nonetheless, right? Overall in the whole it has. It's looking a little questionable potentially right now. So in the playoff scenarios, of course, you beat Atlanta, and if Carolina would beat Tampa, you would win the division, correct?
Yeah.
What are the wild card scenarios going into next week?
Hold on, let me pull them up real quick so I don't screw it up. So they need two teams.
Go ahead.
They need two teams to lose, and it is where's it at? Seattle, I think, has to lose, and somebody else.
And Green Bay.
I mean, look, there's a lot of. Yeah, that's it. And Seattle has to lose to Arizona. So, I mean, it's tough to kind of see it going through, although Arizona did just beat the Eagles, which makes no sense at all. But
the NFL,
dude. Yeah, I mean, look, it's possible. But, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that has to happen. So, I think they just end up, probably coming up short. And it was the same way a few years ago. I remember they closed the season out against Atlanta, and everybody's around the TV. And I think they needed the Rams to win against San Fran, and they laid down. And Mickey Loomis is cussing at the TV in the back of the press box. And, it's just kind of, I expect a very similar type of scene this week. I just think there's too much, I don't think they deserve to make the playoffs, man. And I hate to say that, everybody, gets mad at me for being negative or whatever, but I think it's just the truth. This isn't a playoff team. I don't think they deserve it. And
they haven't beaten any good teams either. All their wins are against the relative worst teams in the league.
Absolutely. And it's just okay, fine, finish the season strong, be on a high note, don't make the playoffs, get a better draft pick. And that kind of just feels like the best scenario for the team right now. But like, they don't deserve to be a playoff team this year.
Do you, so it's kind of funny. I was talking about it last night, and this is so long to go. Like, who knows how this is all going to shake out. But I think if you are a fan of an NFL team that perhaps overachieved a little bit this year and you're not drafting quite as high as you wanted, that you were probably pretty excited watching somebody like Michael Penix last night. I know you're constantly evaluating what the quarterbacks, like kind of what scouts are saying about the quarterback hierarchy. Where does Penix fit in? Is he getting first round? Like, is there going to be a run on these guys? Because you're kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people talk about maybe like 3 in the top 10. Does that mean that Penix even gets like bumped up a bunch?
Yeah, I think he's going to be in the conversation somewhere for sure. And he seems like someone that might like rise up even more just through the process as people kind of catch up and start talking about him more. But yeah, look, I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, if I'm the Saints, like I'm trying to get a quarterback, but I'm not the Saints, and I don't know that they're going to try to get a quarterback. I think they feel good about Derek Carr. I think they want to build the structure around him. They look at it like, you know, there's a handful of things that need to be supported. I see you rubbing your face over there. I think that's.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of not definition of insanity, because you're not exactly doing the same thing, but it does have a little bit of like just obstinate, like, we have large sample size on these cats, but maybe it'll be different, you know?
They're looking at it like if they get him better protection, better running game, like he can do what he did against the Giants or did last week. And it's just like, well, all right, but like, it's probably not going to be that perfect all the time. So what happens in those other games? But I think if you stack the board and there's a D end, a left tackle, and a quarterback all there at say 14 where they're picking, and they're all similar, you know, in grade, I don't have the confidence that they're going quarterback at this point, just based on what I've heard. Like, they just, I think they believe that he can play better with a better structure, and they failed him with the structure this year. And, you know, I don't know, but I would be targeting the quarterback. I'd probably try to trade up for the quarterback. I might trade one of my veteran players who is maybe a little disgruntled in the system to get another first-round pick to trade up with my other first-round pick to get the quarterback. Like, that's how I would be looking at it, but I don't think they're going to go about it that way.
What and I know this question is complicated and it gets misconstrued by the national media. But when it comes to salary cap, the Saints, you know, have constantly kind of defer and they'll bet on guys that they think are good, that are going to stick around. And so these kind of, and with the rising cap, you can kind of eat these payments over time. Will there ever be something like the almost pseudo day of reckoning that they had to deal with when the salary cap fell? Like, will there ever be, because they are getting old, right? Like, does the age of this roster tie kind of into this fiscal strategy?
So, I mean, look, it's to the point where, is it worth it or not? It's not a can or can't they do it thing, because like, you can always do it. Like, just right here. Okay, so they're 87 million over, and I'm just doing this real quick. Like, you can clear more money than I'm about to say, but like, just doing basic restructures on everybody's salary. Like, if you restructure Lattimore, Ramczyk, Demario Davis, Taysom Hill, Alvin, Eric McCoy, Carl Granderson, Tyron, Caesar, Ruiz, Juwan Johnson, Marcus May, Cam Jordan, and Derek Carr, you can clear about $30 million in cap space. Clear the $87 million deficit and then have $30 million to spend on top of it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just doing basic restructures. Yeah. I'm not adding void years and all these other tricks they're doing. You could probably stretch that number out to 50. And then you could re-sign Mike Thomas and avoid the $10 million hit in dead money that comes on him. You could re-sign Andrus Pete and avoid the dead money hit that comes on him, and have a ton of money to go out and address your roster. But
Pete's been a bright spot too.
Kind
Pete should get a little love, dude. I feel like Pete's been solid in a year where I would have never expected that he would have been one of the positive developments on the offensive line.
Yeah, and it's funny because they were trying to get rid of him, and I think you have to bring him back now because you don't have any tackles. And if you come to the offseason with no tackles, they gave him a pay cut and everything, and cut out all the years on his roster. Like, and now they're gonna have to kind of put their tail between their leg a little bit and be like, hey, you want to stick around? But yeah, I mean, look, it's a question of like, should they or shouldn't they? And like, should you restructure Cam Jordan's contract given where he's at in his career? Probably not. Should you restructure Taysom Hill at $10 million base salary? Probably not. You probably need Taysom to take a pay cut, to be honest. But like, you know, the thing is like, yeah, like you end up with these dead money hits on older guys, and it's better to pay them off, obviously, and not have that kind of accounting that you have to do. But like, if you're just pushing a different $30 million ahead, like there is a way to like kind of get your head around it. It's just a matter of should they or shouldn't they. And I've always been the guy for a lot of years, like, yeah, they should keep going for it. Like the window's still there. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the shouldn't side. And I think you need to find the medium of Tampa kind of did it this year where they tried to be competitive, but they were also paying off some debt. I think you need to kind of find that medium. And the Saints were talking about it, and then the Derek Carr window opened, and they kind of pushed all in a little bit. I bet they're going to do it again, but I don't know if they should.
I mean, if you're going to roll back with Carr and Allen, at least do some like fiscal housekeeping. Like I'm with you. At least be willing to start to chip away at some of those bills and just give you a little more traditional breathing room. What do you think about Sunday, man? Form of these two teams entering this game. I mean, I know with the Saints, it's a very mixed bag as to who exactly is going to show up. But if there's been, and granted, Pete Carmichael's actually gotten better here as of late, thanks to you, Nick, just telling Coach he should run more play action. Like they've actually run more play action. It's been very funny to watch. But like Arthur Smith has pretty much by a country mile been the worst OC in the entire league this year. How you feeling about Sunday's matchup?
You know, I honestly don't know. I mean, it's so tough to gauge anything with the Saints because I feel like I've gotten like every game wrong this year. Like every time I'm like, oh, they're going to get smoked, and then they go out and win like they did last week. I didn't think there was any way they were going to win that game, and then they did. Look, I think they're probably going to be without. I mean, they're going to have Marshawn. They're going to have Mike. They're going to have Ramczyk. I think there's probably a better chance that Alvin doesn't play than does play. But it really is kind of a day-to-day thing for him right now with his ankle. But if he doesn't play, like, I don't know how you run the ball at all. So I don't know. I mean, I would probably pick against them, but the Falcons stink too. So I don't know. I mean, it could go either way. If they show up with the heart they had this week, though, I mean, they got a chance of winning this game. And that was kind of the craziest thing to me is like just in the post-game locker room is just, you know, how, like, man, I'm not going to lie. There was a point like after they lost those 3 games in a row where I was preparing stories. Like I was sitting on like writing this is the end type stuff. And I got a whole folder of things like stuff I was hearing where it was going. And then they kind of fought their way out of it. And then that kind of felt like the pinnacle. And it wasn't really about the coaches. Like it was about the players. Like I wasn't quitting on this guy. We made sure we stayed together. We didn't let this become infectious, all that stuff. So like, I think they're going to come out and play hard. I think they really want to make the playoffs. A guy like Chris Olave, like he told me he's at 60% health, like, and he's, you know, doing everything he can to play in these games because he wants to make the playoffs. So, I mean, they are still extremely bought in, even though a lot of us on the outside looking in are kind of like, man, like this isn't worth it. I mean, they really believe it. So I think they're going to go out with full effort. They're going to be depleted. Logically, I'm going to say they're going to lose, but like I'm wrong every time. It seems like this year, so I would pick against what I'm saying and take the same.
Yeah, it's a little fade. I mean, and I hate that, and this is also a bit just because I've been so swept up in college football, but I do hate that I'm not really like giving just due to a gutsy performance. And I love the story about Tyrann Mathieu pumping up Alontae Taylor that Mike wrote about, where basically, you know, Taylor's in his head after getting benched last week, and he needs the old salty vet and the leader to say, hey, man, like, go out there and be you. Do you. Go play cocky. Go play confident. And then he goes out there, he gets his first pick. The secondary is fantastic. And the leadership of Tyrann Mathieu still, even this long into his tenure, affecting wins and losses. So, like, there's something that should be honored there. It's just, it just, you know, held against the blinding light of frustration. It gets kind of harder to, but I'm glad we at least mentioned it here. Nick, what's going on in New Orleans football this week, heading the final week of the year?
Yeah, man, we're just keep breaking everything down, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this team. It's kind of looking towards the future a little bit, even though we're in the present. It's just such a weird time, man. That's what you said. It's just like, there's stuff happening, but it just feels so over. It might not actually be over. It's just a bizarre place to be. I don't want to go through it again next year, but you know, it'll probably be the same thing. But yeah, man, just ramping up, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. A breakdown of Derek Carr, how he performs in perfect situations today, which I don't think actually exists long term. But yeah, we just kind of got everything you need to know heading into the final game.
Yeah, it's definitely the most, and I probably overuse this at times, but this is the most football purgatory that I've ever seen a team that I actively root for be in, where it is not heaven, it is not hell. You are floating in the in-between. So we'll see where we end up. Nick, thank you so much, man. You have an excellent week. Happy New Year, bro.
Yeah, same to all you guys, man. Appreciate y'all.
Nick Underhill, NewOrleans.football. Nick_Underhill, the legend. All right, when we get back, more OTB. But first, hold on now, dude. Remind you about Patient Plus Urgent Care, PatientPlusUC.com, where you will see the difference. More on Patient Plus coming up next, and more OTB coming up next as well.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
So look, y'all, we talk about partnering with local business, and I am so excited. Another new sponsor here for this year, 2024. Our guys over there at Tommy's Windows. Now, when we met Tommy, I gotta say, the energy exuding from this man is infectious. It's palpable. You see why he's built such a successful company. He's over 27 years in this business, right? 27 years Tommy has in the window business. Tommy Window has been around for 7 years now. A man who once hailed from the lands of Virginia, that's right, Jefferson and Washington, found his way down here to Louisiana playing trumpet in the Golden Band. And now he's still here. Only now he's giving you those golden windows. Ton of experience. Massively good reviews. Excellent price point. Customer service that separates it from the back. Tommy's Windows. Check them out today. Tommy's
In
Windows.
times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to.
So join us for Tuesday's AFR presented by Sunshine. Matt is back in the host chair. We're recapping LSU, Wisconsin, and the ReliaQuest Bowl. Saints and Bucks. It's Tuesday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Joel South says, what? We got a new sponsor? Hell yeah. Yeah, we got a couple, man. Shout out Coleman Rubin. Shout out Tommy Windows. Welcome to the squad. Patient Plus been with us. Love Patient Plus Urgent Care. Chances are you're out here like me and Taylor talking about everybody else. Everybody's trying to dodge sickness right now. It's going around. Everybody's getting it. Seems like my kids, if I could somehow monetize green snot, I wouldn't be here anymore. I wouldn't have to work anymore. But I can't yet. And so I am here. And I'm telling you about Page Plus because I love it, man. For life's unexpected moments, you need to get in, get better. They got incredible facilities. They're all throughout Baton Rouge for a reason. Because you've never been to an urgent care this nice, an urgent care this convenient, this easy, the digital profile system where sign in, just a couple taps on the iPad, and then you're good to go. You're in and you're out. Excellent people, the doctors, nurse practitioners, COVID testing, flu, cold, whatever. And ask about the Patient Plus membership where you can pay just flat fee all at once. Or you can pay monthly, but the thing is you get unlimited visits, y'all. And if you go twice, you're already saving money. So go take advantage. Zach Mo, I finally reached the toddler phase where we're watching the same movie multiple times a day, every single day. My girl's obsessed with Finding Dory. We didn't do that. I don't really like Finding Dory that much. But definitely it is funny when they get hooked on a movie and then you watch that movie 7,000 times. Michael Phelps, they do hangover IVs. You can go to Rejuve Me. You can get one if you want. Speaking of movies, if you want one that I would fully recommend that is unhinged, beautifully directed and shot, and wonderfully acted, Saltburn is a wild ride. A really wild ride. And what's the main actor's name? Is it Barry Keoghan?
Yeah, Barry something. I know.
Yeah, I know. He's the guy. He's one of the actors in Banshees of Inisherin, which was a really great movie from last year, I believe. He's actually the Joker, which you only get a slight taste of in that new Edward Pattinson Batman, which I don't know if they're going to continue that, but it's a good standalone Batman movie, even if never goes anywhere else. But man, he does some really good acting. And it's I don't know. I just thought it was it's very dark, very fun, very beautifully shot, and fantastic, I would say. Also, kind of old school, it's 16:9 format, which I thought was interesting. So you have the black bars on the side of the screen. There's the opening credits with these hand-drawn kind of images on top of the shots. Apparently it took this one artist 6 months to do. I don't know, whatever. It's a really good movie. I'd recommend it. And as we move out of the, revisiting Christmas favorites and maybe take on some, what did I say, Robert? Did I say Edward Pattinson?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. That's why I didn't correct you.
Is it a Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, because he was Edward Cullen. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was intentional.
Hey,
I was roll with it.
Hey, dude, Edward rolls large, dude.
No, I was asking you about that movie during one of the breaks because, T-Bob, I have seen so many reviews on it, and people are like, I didn't understand it, but it was weird. But then some people loved it. And then, my sister-in-law was explaining it to me this weekend, and I didn't know how to think of her review because she said, yeah, it's pretty dark and twisted. Taylor, you're probably the only person I know that would like it. And I was flattering, of course.
Well,
how would you not take that as a compliment? But yeah, I think I'm going to check it out.
It is dark to the point where, we had a babysitter show up on New Year's Eve, and I told her that she should watch it. My wife was like, well, hold on now. Understand, because there is some weirdness in there that if you just give a blanket recommendation, not knowing your taste, the average person may show up and may be a little freaked out by some of the stuff that they're witnessing. I thought it was fantastic. I don't think it's hard to understand at all either. But yeah, Saltburn's good. You should check it out and let me know what you think. Self-awareness, best hangover remedy I found by accident is some folk medicine called jogging in a jug. Get a couple ounces down, chasing 2 BC green powders. I don't understand what I'm actually saying. Sorry, I shouldn't have read that just verbatim. It didn't end up going anywhere. It was just like a slow, boring car wreck that I just stumbled into. I would love to understand the hangover cure. For me, it's just drink My High, just a ton of My High. Ton of My High right before I go to bed, and a ton of My High right when I get up and wake up in the morning. All right, let's leave ourselves a little time for Ask the Bench. Ask the Bench coming up next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
K2Z window coverings. K2Z window coverings. KTOZ. Okay, T-O, not the number. KTOZblinds.com is the website. And if you're looking for window coverings that wow, you want K2Z, and you want Brandon Barton, and you want his experience in this game. You know, his mom back in the day kind of started this. I think she's making drapes for her friends, you know, a little side thing. And Brandon's seeing it first thing. He's like, you know, there's something here. And now, for 15 years, he's been in the business, taking care of you, and in the depth of understanding, you really can't even comprehend. So get him out to your home to do an estimate and see exactly what you need. And whether it's like an outdoor living space, a man cave, a bedroom, a baby's room, you want to maximize that room's potential, okay, both aesthetically and functionally. You want K2Z, support those who support us, K2Z window coverings, KTOZblinds.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call
Join us for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Mid-City. We're back after the National Championship semifinals and LSU's bowl game. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. on Tuesday from 105 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Chilly. It's getting chilly in here. Welcome back. OTB. Ask the Bench. Brought to you by Cold Curse Life. Is here. Tons of Blue Moon Lights, Citrus Sweet. By the way, what do you think? I was drinking a whiskey and wine yesterday. Those giant, delicious walk-on mugs. It was cold Curse Light. T-Bob, have you ever seen The Poor Things? No, I have not. He goes on to say, though, that it's directed by the guy who did The Lobster. I really like The Lobster. I'll check it out. Ask the Bench. Has anyone shown Hester T-Bob's traitorism wearing Florida colors and whiskey wine after the LSU game? Yes, we did have blue and orange on. But that it was simply to support our guy Taylor and the wonderful sponsor of, not this Taylor from Satsuma Valve and Controls. Those are the shirts that he gifted us with. And shout out Satsuma for bringing you whiskey wine yesterday. It was awesome. And he brought us really nice bottles of bourbon, which was great. So thank you very much. It was dope.
I appreciate you clarifying that it wasn't me. But when you said the wonderful Taylor, that kind of automatically disqualifies me. So I don't think the clarification was needed, but I do appreciate it.
There's a lot of Bluey talk going on in the chat. Yeah, Bluey's fantastic. Ask the Bench. Bigger disaster. House staying as LSU DC or Carmichael staying as the Saints with OC?
I would say Carmichael. I mean, Matt House wasn't that bad last year. I mean, he's been awful this year, obviously, but like, have we ever seen Carmichael have a good offense?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's got to be... but in a way, it's not Carmichael because you could still say that, like, Dennis Allen is the problem,
yeah,
right?
I get it.
So in a way, then it's like whatever, whoever you bring in, maybe you're not going to maximize. But to your point, if House can re-find whatever he had 2 years ago,
36,
like 30 something, still not $2 million good, but
but it wasn't.
Still don't want to pay a buyout. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so no, that's a very nuanced question. I don't know that I have a great answer. I think it's almost like a matter of perspective. I know that's a cop-out. I apologize, but that's what I'm doing. The T in T-Bob stands for throat goat.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I am a beast, dude. Did you see it? Look, Ashley Megan, a bartender for years, never saw anyone pound a beer and a car bomb back-to-back as quickly as T-Bob. Tank Bob. T-Bob equals throat baby? I don't think you should ever put throat and baby next to each other. That's questionable.
Yikes.
Michael Phillips says House is more tolerable with a new DB and D-line coach. Yeah, probably, for sure. Like, yeah, I would agree with that. If I know everybody's talking about Bo Davis, and we always talk about Bo Davis every time LSU wants a D-line coach, it never works out. If you actually do land Bo Davis, I think that's very exciting for getting the most out of Mason Smith, Dominic McKinley flipping like we talked about earlier, Mekhi Wingo. Who is Mekhi Wingo 100% decided what he's doing yet?
He hasn't said. So we interviewed him before the bowl game, like before they left for Tampa, and he said he was undecided.
Ask the Bench, if you're not using that bad SPC, will you give it to me then? Absolutely not. Because I still do normally get to sneak about 20 to 30 a day on it. And not only that, but my entire family left me for the rest of the week to go back to Georgia, and I'm not meeting up with them till Friday. And so I'm going to be just no-lifing WoW Season of Discovery. So, no, you cannot have my computer. So I'm finally going to get to take some advantage of it. Ask the Bench, when do they call Corey Raymond? I think that stuff's already happened as well. I think it's going to happen. I mean, I don't know. Nothing's ever final in this business till it's final. speaking of re-upping for 2024, we're back with our friends at Accutemp, and we got some incredible deals to get to and to break down for you here in this January. Which I'm going to get you in a second. I'm kind of screwing this up. There we go. Okay, check this out. Right now, you want a whole home generator? You buy from Accutemp, boys, $2,000 off for the month of January for the whole home generators. You get free estimates. They also have maintenance plans so that when power outages strikes, your generator's ready to go, right? Like, make sure that you are protected. You're good to go. And how about this for a BOGO special? You know what BOGO means, boys?
Buy one, get one.
Oh, yeah, okay. Good job. I never knew that recently. Good job.
I just know from working at Burger King.
Of course you worked at Burger King.
What a tie of that checks out. You buy an AC and you get a free heater. Free estimates available there as well. So if you're in the market for a whole home generator, act now, January, Accutemp BR, service to the highest degree, AccuTempBR.com, the absolute best, $2,000 off. And then if you buy a new AC, you get a free heater. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy New Year.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, look what I found! The motivation I needed to live healthier. My new favorite sport. I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish. My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted